Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to stand in opposition to Senate Bill 13. I remember very clearly in my government class my junior year, Mr. Z was my government teacher. And he always talked about the importance of voting. And I think many of you probably remember that first time you went into the ballot box and you had the opportunity to vote. We should be making voting as easily as possible for all of our residents. Let me say that again. We should be making voting as easily as possible for all of our residents. For over a century, generations of Michiganders have had the opportunity to vote straight ticket over 100 years. You heard my good friend from Flint talk about the fact that this has been tried to be repealed a number of times. The last two times, the voters resoundingly rejected the decision of this legislature to move it forward. And it wasn't Democrats who went to the polls to change it. It was Democrats, Republicans, and independents. Why? Because each one of those were actually repealed with over 60% of the vote. Our voters knew then, and our voters know now, that this is high partisanship. And why are we doing it? The reason we're doing it is because Republicans have not been able to win education board seats. And because of that, you said maybe if we remove straight ticket voting, that maybe our Republican candidates can win. So you decide to change the rules. If you can't win an election fair and square, let's steal the election. And that's what's happening here today. We offered you 20 amendments to give an opportunity to do what you said. This is about educating the voters. We gave you 20 amendments to offer that opportunity. And the one time we asked that you recognize a record roll call vote that is guaranteed by our Constitution, you decide not to even recognize the motion. I understand as the chair, you have a lot of power. But as the chair, you also have a lot of responsibility. And the state constitution is our number one responsibility. And so today, you're going to be voting to create voter suppression, and you're going to be doing that for all partisan politics. When your chairwoman of the Republican Party was calling earlier today to each member or a number of the members around here, was she talking about education? No. You know what she was talking about, winning back seats by disenfranchising Democratic voters. That's what's happening here today. We should be better than this. The Constitution demands that we are better than this. And when you go back to your schools and your government classes, how are you going to look those kids in the face when you talk about being civically engaged and about getting involved, when what you've done today is clearly partisan? It's clearly about trying to take back seats that you can't win because your ideas are not good enough. Let the opportunity for the people to continue what they've done for the last 100 years. I stand here in opposition to Senate Bill 13, and I ask you to do the same. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Singh. The clerk will tally, display, and announce the vote.
Mr. Speaker, on the question of final passage of Senate Bill 13, there are 54 aye votes and 51 nay votes.
A majority of the members elected and serving having voted therefore, the bill is passed.